Hey everyone, it's me, Meredith. Back in October, Brian and I started watching Gilmore Girls for the first time, and this past Friday, we finished the series. We made this big date night out of it, and we got dressed up as characters from the show.
Hey, I'm sorry, I rushed over here. I had to close up the thing. I went by the hardware store, alright? I talked to Gypsy. She's gonna get you all the stuff you need, because we gotta seal up these windows. You're losing a lot of cool air coming out during the summer, and a lot of cool air coming in during the winter, which is, of course, you don't want the cool air on the inside during the wintertime, you want it on the outside.
I have 2 science exams on Tuesday. I have 3.
Wait, you're Rory? You didn't go as Lorelai?
This is a more fun outfit.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna put Lorelai. Coffee.
Well, you need coffee?
I was dressed like Lorelai Gilmore for 5 seconds, and now I'm gonna put PJs on because I don't know about you all, but I think that pantyhose, whatever these are called, are the least comfortable thing in the world. They're cold and weird and itchy. Okay, now this shirt I actually purchased back in like 2006 from a Forever 21. It counts. Hey, I have takeout. You better get the movie ready. I smell snow. Then we went and grabbed burgers, fries, and chicken tenders along with ice cream to make it kind of like a Lorelai movie night with Luke's takeout. And Brian also made us martinis, which is Lorelai's drink of choice at Friday night dinners. We finished the series in tears.
If you leave, I will follow anywhere that you tell me to.
Okay, well, we finished. Throughout our Gilmore Girls journey, I had regular correspondence with our friend Lauren, who has watched and rewatched every episode several times. She told us not to even bother watching the 2016 reboot miniseries Year in the Life because it was, quote, not canon.
Lauren, you're saying this is canon?
We are completionists, though, so we immediately launched into the reboot as soon as the series finale was over. And then Lauren agreed to unpack our entire experience with us.
When did you start watching Gilmore Girls? Did you watch it when it was on the air?
Kind of. I remember in high school, dating myself.
When Lauren was in high school in 2017.
But when I was in high school, I remember seeing trailers for it on like UPN or whatever network it was on at the time, and being like, this show looks kind of lame. Like, I kind of judged it. I was like, what is the deal with this show? It came back every year. It was like always there. And then I was like going through a hard time in college, and this was before Netflix, where God.
You ordered the DVDs?
No, where even before that, where you'd have to go to like the library to like check out like movies and stuff. I would go to the Ann Arbor library, and I remember one day seeing that they had like all the seasons of, up until that point, all the seasons of Gilmore Girls, and I was like, I'll just watch this. And I started and just like could not stop. I would keep going back and getting more. It was like during a hard time, so it kind of imprints on you as like a comfort thing. And so then I watched the end of the series like in real time. I think I watched the last 2 seasons in real time.
First of all, what drew me to Gilmore Girls is that it's been a dark year for everybody. It's a terrible time in the world right now. And I felt like everything I was consuming was negative, and I needed something positive. And I follow so many cozy accounts, but so many people I follow are like, it's October, it's Gilmore Girls time. My comfort show, my good feelings show. And my memories from it in high school, seeing it, was like, oh, that looks like it'd probably be really nice, and it looks like Rory is like really pretty and nice, and it's cool that her mom's young. I didn't want to jump in the middle and like not understand what's happening. But then yeah, in October I wanted to watch it. And also what happened was what happens every time I start to watch a show by myself, which is that Brian like kind of pops in with popcorn, like, what you watching? And always joins me.
I eat popcorn with a spoon.
When you first watched it, were you like instantly like, oh, I get this? Or did it take you a minute to get into it? Or did it scratch that itch right away?
No, it scratched it like pretty fucking fast. It was pretty clear, cut and clear. And then it was like, we had such a busy November and December. But while we were on tour, remember we were watching it on your iPad in the hotel rooms? Like, remember how I had a meltdown about the van and I was like, I can't ride the van anymore? Like, that morning we like sat and watched Gilmore Girls, and I just like had to calm down.
Like, you would, when we first moved in together, you wouldn't even be watching it. You would just put it on as we were like moving in.
It's great background noise.
To be like, let's just put it on in the background as like a thing.
I had rewatched the series so many times that at this point it's like, I can put on any episode at any point. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like an old friend.
So I found this out about Lauren on the tour.
Lauren became our oracle for Gilmore Girls.
And because you have such a great memory with names and stuff, I was like, this is important. I need someone who I can regularly text about this shit. And I'm very thankful. Because there were so many times too where I was just like panicking or just like, what the fuck am I seeing? You could either be like, just wait, or yeah, that's actually fucked, and just validate me. Okay, here's something that I'm gonna reveal to you guys. I accidentally heard you say, wait till you meet Logan, and I was like, okay, and then Joey said, when do they meet Logan? And I heard you say, it's when Lorelai and Luke break up.
I spoiled it?
It wasn't a big spoiler because we kind of interpreted it as like Luke and Lorelai were like starting a romance, and then it kind of fizzled out a little bit.
They break up a couple times, but that was the real one, and that's when Logan comes in and Rory and Logan start their thing. And that's when Lorelai is having an honest reaction to her breakup with Luke. The later breakup with Luke is so nonsensical. Her reaction to it is just like nothing. And then she's sleeping with Chris, and then all of a sudden she's marrying Chris, and she's playing it up like she genuinely does love Chris and that it's been so many years in the making. And it's kind of like, what? This doesn't make sense for her character. It doesn't make sense for like, why did we have that super emotional, like very real, very down-to-earth breakup with Luke, and it was so awesome when they got back together, if they were just gonna like flippantly act like it didn't matter later.
And they took so long too with the Chris stuff. Like it's like 10 or 15 episodes until they get divorced. They don't even like talk about them getting divorced. They're like, we broke up, and I'm just like, oh my god, we all knew this was coming, and it took forever. Here's the thing about season 7 that is just interesting to me is like, I think it gets a lot of flack for Amy Sherman Palladino not being the showrunner on it, and that flack is deserved. But at the same time, I mean, she instigated that Luke, Chris, Lorelai storyline at the end of season 6. So it's like, it's not like she's devoid of responsibility for this stuff. And April, my god.
They really jumped the shark with April.
She looks at the camera in every scene she's in.
Well, there's a really important math seminar that's coming up, and that was the most jarring part of Year in the Life is she did a scene without looking right down the fucking line.
Right down the fucking barrel.
She's more seasoned now, you know? Yeah, it is funny because it's like, the show does go off the rails before Amy Sherman Palladino leaves. So like, yeah, it's not all the fault of that. But season 7 is so out of left field with so many things. The first like 4 especially, but even into season 5, like the characters are all acting in accordance to how we know them to be. Everyone's in their groove and you're like, yes, I know all these characters, and like, once in a while they do something a little surprising, but it's warranted and earned, and you're like, okay, great, this is them growing. And then like, it's so jarring to have these things come in that you're just like, this makes no sense for these characters. This comes out of nowhere. What is the point of it? Like, it feels like it serves no purpose.
These are like the big things that upset me from the show. Overall, loved this show, and I will absolutely rewatch it. So many people are aligned with you, Lauren, in like, I only rewatched the first 4 seasons. So many people online that I've interacted with have said, this is my comfort show. It's what it's the show I've rewatched the most. We just found out that Tracy rewatches this show every year.
Yeah, Tracy's a big fan. Yes. Yeah. Joey, for my birthday, a few years ago, took Tracy, like got an in at the WB lot through a friend.
It was Carlos.
Carlos.
It was when Carlos was Flash, and it was just like, can you help us get, and we went.
And we got to walk around like and see all the houses and stuff.
So the things that I hated who Rory became for a while. She got better, I felt. Never that great. I didn't like who she became. The worst example of Rory's worst moments was when she was angry at her grandparents and didn't tell them that her dad was now paying her tuition, and they had to figure it out themselves. I mean, I think that the way that the show and Lorelai and Rory treat Lorelai's parents is pretty bad throughout.
Wow, an Emily apologist.
I understand.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, because like Emily's pretty awful.
Emily is awful, and also the way Emily treats the help throughout the entire show is terrible, and she's very racist. But like, why did they make those Year in the Life things so racist? Like, why did they introduce such a racist, not funny storyline?
Yeah, that was wild. I don't know what the fucking thought there was. That is one of the myriad of reasons why Year in the Life is, we just don't even consider it.
It was funny because you kept being like, it's not canon, it's horrible. And those first 2 episodes, I don't think it's like that bad. And then like
I chalked it up to us going right from the end of the series into it. So like we had no expectations really like built up over time. But then it got really bad.
it got terrible. That
And they
musical.
did that fucking musical. I would have honestly rather followed Kirk around for 10 minutes, seeing whatever it is he wants to do.
Kirk was a character who remained steady throughout. In fact, he grew. He
He
grew and
only
got
got
better.
better.
Yeah, I think the worst mistake that this show made for sure was Lane's storyline. It was terrible. Zach is horrible.
So many of the men in the show are so insufferable.
Zach in the band.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say that I remember reading like long ago that was one of the things that Amy Sherman Palladino was like pissed about with season 7 was that Lane had children. She was like, it totally hinders like any plans we had for Lane, and it like cuts her off at the knees kind of. So
I was getting so mad because for the longest time, Lane didn't even talk to Rory. It was always just that band. The other band guy, Brian, is such an obviously better fit. He speaks Korean and has a deep appreciation for Korean culture. He actually writes a song for Lane. Zach blew up their chance at like getting, management or something like that in a very like hateful,
Violent way.
literally violent, where
he
you
was
wouldn't
violent.
even.
He's a terrible person. And then they gave him the chance. All of a sudden, somebody wanted him to play guitar, and Lane was like, "Well, I have to stay home with the babies." And he was like, "Are you sure?" She should have been asked to join a band.
I remember when I first watched the series finale, I was like, it's kind of unsatisfying because the whole season is so weird. But then after a year in the life, I revisited the last few episodes of season 7. I was like, you know what? It's not that bad. Because year in the life was so horrible that I was like, you know what? That's a perfectly fine send off.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. We were just so desperately ready for Luke and Lorelai to be back together that.
And I was happy that she broke up with Logan. So first of all, yes, Lauren is Logan.
Lauren is Logan.
Lauren, I agree with you that Logan is the best of the 3 horrible choices. Who do you think was the hottest?
Jess.
Jess is, of course, the hottest. That's no contest. He's such a piece of shit.
Agree.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And then Dean is just like so overly jealous and toxic masculine and just like mopey baby, not funny or fun. Logan like would have his good moments. Overall, I still think he like talked down to her. The fact that he called her Ace all the way through really just got under my skin. Where I was like, ugh. Like remember how when we first started dating,
Yes, I remember.
he called me kiddo once, and I went no. I was like.
I remember watching those last few seasons and being like, wow, he has like a cool nickname for her. That's so cute.
But I did think it was cool when she tried to like write that piece on how privileged everyone was, and he was like, you're just like us. Just because you're not a trust fund baby, you are so privileged. And I was like, that was the coolest thing Logan's done.
And that made me go like, there's more to him than meets the eye, because like, he could have responded to that like Dean would have and been like really defensive. He had the wherewithal to be like, you're the fucking same as all of us, which I actually appreciated because she, especially in those later seasons, Rory gets like super entitled and acts like a fucking trust fund kid. Yes. No offense, trust fund kids everywhere, but
somehow she's like mean to people. She like her whole thing is as a journalist is that she can really tear someone down in a journalism.
Those were painful episodes.
I tweeted, am I supposed to like Jess or Dean? Because I sure as hell don't, or something like that. And all these people wrote back, just wait till you meet Logan. He's the best one. So everybody agrees with you. But this is how I go, who's Logan? Have I met him yet? And I Googled it. And the first thing that popped up was, is Logan Rory's baby's dad? Question mark. So that's why I knew Rory was going to get pregnant. So this whole time I've been watching, before I even met Logan, I've been keeping it secret. And I was going, when is she gonna get pregnant? And like through every storyline, I was like, maybe this is when she gets pregnant. At the end of the series, when she broke up with Logan, and then the series ended, and I went, wow, she never got pregnant. That's probably how the next series starts. It starts with her being like, here I am with my 10-year-old kid, and that's why people are like, was it Logan's kid? And then for all 4 of those day in the life episodes, I was like, when the fuck is Rory gonna get pregnant? And I can't believe it was the last line of the show. The greatest things about the show are their lifestyle of just, let's order in. I mean, I'm so aligned with them with like, let's just order in and watch movies. Let's go to the same diner every day. I feel like I'm in that place in my life right now where I'm finding so much joy in these like little things, and I don't feel the need to be doing anything too big or cool. And also, Lauren Graham is just a fantastic actress.
She's so phenomenal. Alexis Bledel, you know, wasn't an actor. That was her first job ever. So like she really finds her footing as it goes on. But like Lauren Graham is just like so fucking good, that whole series.
And the scripts are just like so sharp and like quick, and like you go with each episode, it's like they put so much into an episode because they're talking so fast.
If you read about the making of that show too, they had like insane hours because it would take them so long to shoot scenes because the scenes were so long, and all the scripts were like 100 pages. Another thing that I love about Gilmore Girls that makes it such a good escape is the abundance in that town. And this has a lot to do with like the set decoration and the production design, but like everything is so abundant. Like you go into Suki's kitchen at the inn and it's just, it's pallets overflowing with like fruit and vegetables and pies, and like there's just so much. No one struggles financially, and when they do, it's like still not that high stakes, you know. It's like everyone's got a nice house. You go, this single mother who doesn't have a super high paying job can afford to just like eat out every meal with her daughter, and they can order 10 pizzas for the two of them. And it's like sometimes seeing that stuff in like movies and TV is really annoying, where you're like in Friends where you're like, how do they afford that fucking loft in New York when none of them work, you know? But there's something about Gilmore Girls where you're like, it's just nice to accept it and be like, yeah, of course, because no one struggles there.
The friendship with Melissa McCarthy is also great.
But it was another one of those things early on watching where I was like, how long is Melissa McCarthy going to be on this? And it was every episode.
Yeah.
Even though Emily and Richard are like very problematic and absolutely like Republicans and, you know, just like so like, you know, but there was also something about the Friday night dinner scenes that I always found really comforting.
Well,
in
you
a weird way,
dinner scene.
I love dinner scenes. They're my favorite thing to watch. It's just like family members at a table. It's my favorite thing. I fucking love dinner scenes.
Thanks for being my rock during this experience.
You're so welcome. It's been so fun to relive it through your eyes.
I can't wait to rewatch.
We'll do a follow-up once I finish, when I watch the series.
Yes.
I'm contractually obligated to finish the series.
To watch the
series, to watch the whole series with you.
Not Year in the Life.
Not Year in the Life, but in exchange for Lauren watching all of Lost with me. Did you guys ever finish Lost?
I stopped after, well, Brian did, but I was it season 5?
Joey knows that I finished Lost.
I know that Brian finished Lost. I was there when
Joey remembers me finishing
I'm
Lost
gonna
more
stop
than I
recording.
remember finishing Lost.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Overall, loved the show. Can't wait to rewatch it, but I probably will skip a lot of season 7, probably a lot of season 6. Probably never watch that reboot ever again. Have a great week, everyone.